You may or may not remember this, but there was a video game system known as the Atari 2600. Many people, including myself, state that it was this system that brought video games to mainstream attention. But at one point in history, it was what caused what many people thought would be the end of video games as they knew it. That was a video game recession, which occurred between 1983 and 1985. During this period, people didn't know if video games were going to survive. There was a good possibility that they could have suddenly just vanished from people's attention, like a passing fad. Luckily, it recovered in part due to the success of the Nintendo's NES. If you want to know more about the video game crash of 1983, well, Google is your friend. But that is not what we're talking about today. Instead, it was necessary for me to mention this event in history because people are still arguing over what exactly caused the video game crash of '83. And most people blame one singular video game for the Atari 2600. E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. A game so bad that they had to dump copies into a landfill in order to rid society of its existence. So you'd think that such intellectual property would be cursed in video game form, right? Wrong. At least that's what New Kid Co. thought. And then the video game crash of 2001 occurred. I'm joking, of course. But it does make you think, why exactly would you make new E.T. video games so long after the original movie was released? I guess it coincides with the 20th anniversary of the film, but in all honesty, who really cared about getting new E.T. games in 2001? I sure didn't, and I think even fans of E.T. sure didn't. But you know who did? New Kid Co. But no one else. So yeah, 5 games. Yeah, that's right, count them, 5 games. I'm not joking. For E.T.'s 20th anniversary. So, what are they like, you may ask? Well, that's what we're going to look into today. So let's look at these games, shall we? Let's go! So, what do you think they would release for the first 20th anniversary E.T. game? Huh? Would you think a platformer? Wrong. A vertical shooter? Wrong. An RPG? Wrong. How about a motherfucking PDA? An E.T. PDA on the Game Boy Color. E.T. Digital Companion is a game where you make notes of things you want to do in real life with E.T. bothering you about feeding the flangegabble every 5 seconds. You start by answering questions about yourself to E.T., which could be considered a bit personal and somewhat intrusive at times, but don't worry, E.T.'s an alien. He doesn't even know how to commit identity theft, so no worries. Just enter your bank account details and let E.T. handle the rest. You might have to pay a fee before he can organize your stuff, which can be paid with Steam gift cards, but once that's done, E.T. will be the best assistant you've ever had, until another fee crops up, but don't worry. We'll worry about that when it arrives. That was a bit, by the way. Never give anything to scammers. The bottom line is that this game is just a planner PDA thing, which in no fairness, no kid would have ever really wanted. What do you do? You think you give a PDA to your kid for Christmas? Yeah, so your kid's gonna really appreciate that. It's just a complete waste of time. Much like the rest of these E.T. games. Oh, did I say that out loud? Forget that. Let's move on to the next game, shall we? So, in this next game, E.T. has had enough of Elliot's shit and wants to escape from planet Earth, as stated in the game title. So at least in this game, they get something right. They've just made it a platformer with puzzle elements. That's all they needed to do. That's all you really had to do. But still somehow they fucked it up. So you play as both E.T. and Elliot in this game, and you have to collect bottle caps or something to pay children for parts of a phone you need to build to phone home and ask for your homies to come and pick you up. All because you needed to stop and have a piss on some backwater planet, and then while having said piss, the FBI try to kidnap your ass so your homies bounce. Oh shit. Now you're stuck here. But yeah, now you're stuck doing stupid puzzles, trying to get bottle caps to pay some kids because they're holding your way home ransom. Look, you go into a thing, and go into another thing, in which you do a puzzle and get the bottle cap. That's the game. You then repeat this over and over again. That's the game. That's the game. Like I said, it's not necessarily bad. It's just boring. Really, really boring. It gets really boring. Well, at least it's better than Digital Companion. Next up is E.T.'s singular GBA outing, simply called E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. Oh my, this game. What's happening? Why does E.T. control like shit? Why is he so fast? Why do enemies move in such irregular patterns? Why does the environment look so bad? Why even bother making this? So this is an E.T. game where you collect flowers while avoiding bugs, which by the way is extremely hard to do, seeing as E.T. controls worse than a fucking tank. Also, seriously, this background looks so bad. Ugly, even. Also, E.T. can point his finger in anger at the enemies, which as far as I can tell, doesn't kill the enemies. Instead, it hurts E.T. and eventually kills him. What the fuck? This game is atrocious. Don't ever play it, seriously. You know, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Now we move on to the final Game Boy game, which for some reason went back to the Game Boy Color. So, E.T. wanted to do some gardening in this next game. Yeah. Gardening. I know. Why? So the next game is E.T. and the Cosmic Garden, a game in which E.T. maintains and looks after his virtual garden. Is it pointless? Yes. Do I know what I'm doing? No. Does this game actually have a Numemon? Yes! Well, possibly. All I know is that this shit is boring. E.T. should get some more interesting hobbies. Like, what about E.T. and his awesome kayaking adventure? Or E.T. and his extremely successful drug farm? I'm not gonna stop talking about this game. Next is the only 3D E.T. game, E.T. Interplanetary Mission. We've had some pretty good E.T. games so far, haven't we? Haven't we? So why not we bring it up a notch? Yeah, no. E.T. must once again go around and collect flowers while doing puzzles and avoiding enemies. It's pretty much a 3D Escape from Planet Earth, with the controls of E.T. for the Game Boy Advance. Great mix, huh? You can use telekinesis to move objects such as the flowers you need to collect and other things. This can also be used on enemies, but is pretty pointless as you can't move them very far away. The biggest issue this game has is that the enemies lock onto you and chase you. Yeah, keeping in mind that E.T. controls about as well as he does in the GBA game, and cannot turn to save his entire race's existence. E.T. is pretty useless as a game protagonist, to be honest. It made me come to this realization about E.T. Elliot would have been easy to play as. E.T. should have just held it in at least until they reached Venus. That's a callback on what joke I made previously for Escape from Planet Earth. Interplanetary Mission is a failure of a game. Okay? It's for failure. So, now you can see, don't you? Be lucky. We had such variety in games back in 2001, where E.T. could have been the cause of another video game crash. I think the small walking bullsack should have never touched video games and just stayed a great film. Be grateful that we live in the timeline where LJN didn't make an ET video game, or we might not even exist right now and have full-on extinction. I guess, due to us not being on that timeline, we can somewhat forgive the little alien. At least maybe about as much as 0.0000000000000000000000001%. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!